Hello and welcome to my NT&D marriage video channel. Today I want to talk about yelling. I recently had a conversation with my eldest son and he said to me, "It's strange, I'm not like you, Dad. I don't yell. My partners and I don't yell at each other." And I sort of said to him, "Calm your farm." I don't like yelling either. I've never been a yeller. It may happen that in this relationship I have resorted to yelling because I'm being yelled at. I said to my son, however, I was never a yeller prior to my situation now. To give you an example, I was doing the dishes once and I was in a relationship with an ex of mine. And while I was doing the dishes, he came up and told me the truth about something he had previously lied about. And I remember I was washing the dishes, I had a knife in my hand, as a matter of fact, I'm washing the knife and I kind of close my eyes and I'm sort of counting to 10 and I was thinking, that is not good to hear. And I said to him, "You need to go away and leave me alone for a while." And off he trots, you know. And I finished doing the dishes. And while I'm washing, I'm processing everything. What's happened before, what he said before, what he's telling me now, how I'm feeling about it, why would he have lied, how I'm going to handle it. All of that sort of stuff, all going through my mind, tick, 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 while I wash. And then when we finished the dishes, I finished the dishes, I calmly went up to him and said, "Why did you lie?" And his response to me was, "Is that how you always handle anger?" And I'd never thought about that before. And I said, "Yeah. That's just how I roll." And he was gobsmacked, amazed. Because most people will lose their temper. They'll just go off like a frog in a sock, as I like to say. And I don't roll that way. So when I get in the situation with my current partner, who's neurodiverse, and argues so illogically it's not funny, like he goes around in these random circles and he puts the blame back on me. I was quiet and being rude to you because you were angry with me. And I'll be like, "No, you were the one who was angry with me, but okay." And so we'd have these annoying arguments or discussions. And even then, it was so rare for me to yell or raise my voice. I might sort of get a bit incredulous and be like, "What the hell? You can't be serious." But it is very, very, very rare for me to yell. So much so that about maybe 10 odd years ago, we were doing this task. I'd started it myself and he'd come along and decided to help. And it was one of those tasks that was frustrating. Everything was going wrong and I was just really tense. And he decides to call the children over to come and help me. And I yelled then. I was like, "I don't need their help," kind of thing. And he was like, "Whoa," and the children stop and they're like, "Whoa." Because it was one of the first times they'd ever seen me do that. And even at the time I remember thinking, what was that about? That's unlike me. So I'm really not much for yelling. Again, I think it's just pointless, as with the name calling. I think yelling is so wasteful. It's a wasted emotion. All you do when you yell is shut down the communication. Nobody's talking. You're reacting from anger, which is a bad place to try and resolve any situation from. And if you yell, then others yell because you're being loud and they've got to be loud. And then it's he who yells loudest wins. I don't buy into that. It's not that I haven't raised my voice. And there's a distinction. I'm not talking about, say, standing up for yourself. We went away once, and this relates to the holidays. You might recall that I said that I used to plan them and I stopped. I planned this weekend away. It was actually just going to be me and the children, but hubby had convinced himself and myself that I wouldn't be able to do it without him. And so he came. And he critiqued everything. Everything. The entire weekend was him just going, I mean, you almost want to sew his jaw shut, you know, like, shut the up. And I'm telling him to stop and, you know, moving away and walking away and closing my eyes and counting to 100, and I mean, trying to cope with his constant barrage and barrage, whatever you call it, badgering, that's the word I'm looking for. We get home and we are walking towards the front door and he is still going. And I just turned to him and screamed. And then said, "You've ruined the weekend." And he just stopped and looked at me and went dead quiet. And I had a moment of thinking, damn, I should have swore at him sooner. But alas, it's not my style. And so yes, I have yelled on occasion. I have raised my voice. I did swear at him that time. That's the second time that I've done it. When I say swear, I swear a lot, to be honest. But not at people or in their faces or anything like this. So there was 2 times that I swore directly at him. The second time was I was about to go out and visit a friend, and he was badgering me about some jobs that I hadn't completed, like what's this doing on the bench and whatever. And I'm about to leave, like, stop. I'm busy. I'm not about to do those things now. I'm on my way out. So why are you badgering me about it? And again, I turned to him and said the F word, screamed it in his face, and pointed to something that he had left unfinished. Like, pot, kettle, hello? What are you doing? Why are you badgering me when you're just the same as me and we all have things we haven't finished? And then I leave. And so there's 2 times that I have sworn at him like that. And even still, in the 24 years that we've been together, 2 times like that is not much. I don't yell at him directly. I will, as I say, raise my voice. I have spoken out of frustration, for sure. However, I try not to respond out of anger. I think that's key difference. Anger, as I said, it resolves nothing. If you get angry, you've already lost control. And you can't resolve any kind of issues while you have no control over your emotions. So yes, the point I'm making is yelling is a big no-no for me. An example of how I have spoken out of frustration and raised my voice would be this. He recently saw his counsellor, who's helping him deal with depression that he's currently facing through situations that are happening at work. And he walks in the door and he goes, "I'm right, we've got nothing in common. I've spoken to the counsellor and she agrees with me. You know, this relationship is yada 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 and we don't have the same values." And I was like, "I beg your pardon?" I said to him, "That's not the truth. We do have the same values." And I talked to him about, you know, we've spoken about this so many times. How is it that you can say that we don't have the same values? This is exactly why we're together, because we have the same values. We don't cheat, we don't lie, we don't gamble, blah, 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 blah. And so I did raise my voice a little in that situation and speak out of frustration. But I didn't yell and I didn't call him names. I just talked to him in a more voluminous way because we've spoken about this so many times. It's kind of like, a bit silly, but if you're on the neurotypical side of things, I'm sure you will relate. But it's kind of like, the first time I said it, I wasn't heard or listened to. So then I say it again and again and again, 24 years later, and he comes home saying that the counsellor agrees with him that we don't have the same values, which, even if she really even said that, it's very doubtful. And so I sort of raised my voice in a way of trying to get him to understand that, well, it's a way of getting him to hear me finally. Like if I say it a bit louder, it'll register. Now, I'm sure we'll have that conversation again years down the track. It's just how things roll with us. But again, I didn't resort to yelling. How I cope with situations where he will critique or fault find, and he will often yell at us, which is another reason I don't yell. I feel like the two of us yelling is worse than just one parent yelling, especially with relation to the children watching and seeing it all unfold. Generally, if I'm frustrated, I will come into my room, lock the door, put the music on really loudly and pace. And if I'm super angry, I'll scream into a pillow and punch the bed, because beds and pillows, I can't hurt them with my outbursts. So I'll tend to take any kind of outburst or frustration out on an inanimate object in most cases. It's unlikely I would take my anger and outburst out on another individual. And as I say, because he's angry enough of the both of us, I feel like one of us has to be the calm in the storm. So again, I ask, can you relate? Do you yell? Does your partner yell? How do you deal with situations where your partner is yelling? How does your partner deal with situations if you're the yeller? Leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I really do appreciate it.